What is up, everybody? We are back. Still trying to figure out what we can add in. We got this dude that's gonna hang out and stay on top of us during this. Um, so obviously we are in that winter season, and we're like, what are we gonna do? What should we build next? We were just getting some work done to the boat, so we decided let's build a bar downstairs. And pretty much I'm gonna just walk you guys through what I did, how I set it up, and what it looks like. Like I said, this is gonna be outside of fishing and hunting, but for those of you that may be interested in making a bar, or I don't know, setting something up in a corner where you're like, oh, I could fill this in with something. We decided to add a bar downstairs, so we're gonna get right to it and show you all what we did. All right, so I did really bad with doing the recording at the beginning because I wasn't really planning to record, but pretty much this is just the frame out of everything. I used 2x6s for the bottom and 2x4s to make the frames up the wall, and then I used 6x6s to just kind of make the joists that go around in the corner. And then I used plywood to put it up around the frame, and I used 2x6 tabletop around the counter space, and then I used plywood around that counter space again. So that's where I left off. All of that was just the framing stuff, and then I actually start to begin to get into the building of the bar. But overall, the measurements on that were 34 by 32 by 68. So I made that L out of 2x4s with 10 inches of space, and then put a piece of plywood on top of that and just cut that at a regular square angle. All right, so the first thing was just kind of setting the frame out to how we want it set up. All right, so I went with 2x6s. I just set it up for the distance of my downstairs. All right, so this is 68 inches this way. Then I come to a 90 right here, turn it into an L. 32 inches this way and 32 inches that way. I have a 31 by 18 and a half inch counter. This is 7 inches. I put 2 inches of overhang from here. The way that I set this up is I used plywood right there, brought them together. All right, then I took 1x's, just 1x1s. All right, set them on the outside. This is all gonna get stained right here, okay? And then I'm putting floorboards. So just like your regular floor, I'm putting floorboards all the way down, but there will be spacing, and you guys will see why I'm doing the spacing. For the top, I just used finished oak board. All right, I did 2 inches of overhang here and 3 inches of overhang here. It doesn't look like 3 inches because the 1x's are there, but this is 3 inches of overhang. And just brought that to an L right there. We got the TV up, and I'll put some before and afters of what this thing looked like and what we did in the meantime and how we set it up. All right, so, the most important part of this whole entire process isn't the putting the bar together itself, it's the finishing touches. So, I got these from Home Depot, 25 bucks, I think. I got 2 of them, so I got 32 feet. They literally come like this. Right there, you peel the tape, you stick them up. Peel the tape, stick them up. We already ran down on the bottom. You can see, it sits on the bottom, comes up the side, right here. Goes down in here, comes up inside of that, goes there. I just hooked the other one in, and now we're gonna run that all the way down and around And then that is gonna wrap up and around the counter. This is what happens when it's the middle of winter and you can't fish. You're losing your mind. So you decide, let's go build a bar. And you bring Dilly Dally along for the ride. But big shout out to Braden too. He put a lot of time into helping me actually build the frame of this thing. So definitely won't forget that. Yeah, this just gives it a little extra pizzazz. And this is an Hatunamatata special. I don't think you're gonna find another one of these on YouTube. I'll start my bidding war now. $1, $3. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, oh shoot. If you guys have any questions, just check us out on social media. All right, if you can, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Definitely helps our channel out, helps us build. Every single time that you guys share that, it helps me to do stuff like this and show you how I do it. And then, you know, when we get into fishing season, then it's go time. Go. Sir. So that's what it's going to look like. And then, pretty cool, these are going to go up like that. And there's going to be like an opening here, and an opening here, and an opening here. And these are just going to run down. This is going to be stained brown, so it's going to pop that color out. All right, guys, so the fiance went and sanded this down. I had to run out and run some errands, and she sanded it and stained it. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so there it is, stained. Now, what we used was just bare espresso wood stain. All right, so we used espresso. And then we used a polyurethane, semi-gloss, water-based, just to give it a little bit of shine. We're going for the rustic look, so not overly concerned about the roughness of the stain and whatnot. But now we're going through, we have our floorboard. We just went with, right here, we got 40 square feet of it, so it's literally, like I said, the floor, but I'm cutting it into 4-inch strips, and it is going to be separated by a 2x4, so it's going to go 4, 2x4, 4, and that 2x4 will be the gap. All right, so this is the hardest part, being able to do this by yourself. So like I said, stain, semi-gloss coat, floorboard, 4 inches. All right, these are all 1-bys. Okay, so they were put in there. I cut them, put them in there, nailed them in, and that's kind of what these are gonna hook to. All right, so I stripped these to 4-inch strips. I'm going for like the barn look, rustic. So I'm gonna go there, shove that up. Like I said, this is the hard part, doing it by myself. Boom. Boom. Right there. All right, so if you're doing this, I would definitely recommend a measuring tape, but also one of these T-squares. All right, put it on there. Put it on there. Make sure your line's straight before you go and cut it. The other thing I'm doing, because I know that each of my boards are going to be 4 inches, I'm stripping all of them. They're 8-inch pieces. So I just set my line right there to 4 inches, and then I run it through, and then I run it back, and that way I'm using about everything. Go ahead, set our line. I know I need it at 24 and a half. Nope, just kidding, I need it at 24 and a quarter. 24 and a quarter. Set the T on there. Alright. Now if you're using floor, like Pergo or Life Proof or floating floor, it's going to come with those edges. I cut those edges out. I make sure that they're what I don't use, so I don't have to worry about there being any notches or anything that looks different. I mean, really the goal is that this doesn't look like I'm using a floor. 2, 3, 4. Now if somebody asks, I mean, that's what I'm using. But this is kind of like a creative way to build a bar. And like I said, this is an Hatunamatata special. This is not something I was able to find on YouTube or made by other people. This was kind of my own idea. And now I'm just running with it.
It's her. Nothing else makes me feel.
Through those finishing touches. Sir. Now this is going to be bull nose. Where it puts the same stuff in there that comes to a 90-degree angle. Same thing in here. Good, final finishing touches. Now I still got to stain the top with the counter, but I think it's turned out good. Then we're gonna add our shelves in, so that's super easy. And we have the countertop going in. Pumped to see what this thing finishes out as. All right, now we're putting the countertop on. So like I said, this was all framed to start. We're using this right here, we'll glue it in. This right there is just a little shim to lift that corner up a little bit, but this is now to put the top in, and then we'll nail it down to there, that corner, and that corner. And there you go. So we just push this up just for now. The clamp didn't fit underneath to be able to pull it up, so just there till the glue sets. All right, so now that the top is stained, coming along. I just started to design the shelving. It's just gonna be 2x4s to plywood, nothing crazy. So this was obviously made specifically for this. So I took my measurement from here to there, went across, found my middle point on my 2x4. Obviously, I cut that out. And then the distance in which I made that was to get to that one, hit the back of this one, and still stay out here. So really just a lot of measuring and then cutting it out. We got two, we got one for the top and one for the bottom. And then I'm just putting 2x4s on the side, 2x4s on the side. I'm gonna screw them in and then staple that thing in, and it won't come out unless we have to move it for some reason. But there'll still be enough space if I decide to put some sort of front on this, like doors or something. Not really worried about that right now, but who knows, down the road maybe. Now we're gonna repeat that process down here. All right, so little tip, if you're trying to get like notches out where a table saw is not gonna work, miter saw, chop saw may not work, circular saw may not work. Small T tool is perfect. I usually just start my cut with that, just a little notch, and then I run the rest of it with that. For the most part, it gives me pretty solid. I got a little bit of chip right there, but nothing you're gonna notice inside of on a shelf. Now this right here is gonna be a kegerator. That's gonna come up out through here. Probably gonna come up somewhere into here. And then this is gonna be a little box in area that your drink's gonna sit on, and then you can use it. But we'll be doing that another time. There you go. She's done. Oh, wait, nope. I gotta do the backsplash. Then it'll be done. All right, now just adding some finishing touches. Backsplash is done. Like I said, these are all gonna be bull nose. This is gonna be another cup holder once I get to that point. I just gotta wait for those parts to come in for the kegerator. Now I'm just covering this right here, that right there, and that right there. Just those 3 2x4s, and then the bar is completely done. Well, till those parts come in. And the final last touch. Voila. The bar is done. The bar is finished. There we go. All finished. Got the putting green. All done. Now what we're gonna do now, go in here and grab us a cold brewski. Voila. Guys, the bar is done. Completely finished. Shelves are in. She's done. Now, like I said, we're gonna wait for the kegerator to come in. We'll hook that up. Got enough space for the tanks and the kegerator itself. But super, super pumped with how this turned out. I am going to put pretty much the breakdown of what I spent, what I got. Like I said, I had this whole thing done in under $500. It's probably like $450, somewhere in there, 400. But like I said, I'll put that in the description, and I'll also throw that actually on this next page. Now, on the plus side, we get the boat back tomorrow, so we will be done with this indoor DIY stuff, and we're heading back out onto the water. So catch y'all there. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. If you're still here, thank you all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the water. All right, so this is just a final breakdown of pricing. What we spent. We have a total spent of $640, $150 in just your regular wood materials, $50 in those LED lights. Those are optional. The floorboards were 200, and the plywood and bar top were also 200, and just your regular stain clear coat glue was $40. So overall, I mean, it's a breakdown of the bar, and $640 for that whole thing is definitely definitely worth it.